Hello and welcome to Screen Source episode 57, your place for film and television news, reviews, and trailers. How are you boys doing tonight?
Not good anymore.
Why not?
I'm still upset about the Intruder trailer.
So we just watched the trailer for The Intruder. Make sure you go and watch that reaction. It's probably the best one.
I would have rather just rewatched Detective Pikachu over again.
But what are you doing here right now? You are here to watch us watch the trailer for Wayne, a new YouTube original that just came out. But before we watch that trailer, I wanted us to just give us a little sneak peek on what we're going to be talking about today on Screen Source. And it is 1, the new Resident Evil reboot, and 2, the new Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think it's his debut in directing. His directorial debut, I think is what they call it. So that's some of the news that we'll be talking about today, amongst a plethora of other things. We're going to be talking about the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. So, but before all that, let's watch Wayne and give you our thoughts on it.
Listen, Wayne, there's always going to be people doing rotten stuff to other people, but you got to let the proper people handle it. If you run around righting wrongs all your life,
Like stripes.
that'll be your life. Look at me.
I'll also take that bike lock and that aluminum bat. I'd like to return this bat.
Sell you some goddamn cookies is what? You like cookies or are you as weird as you look?
I like cookies. You like music?
My name's Bill.
What are you doing alone? My 15-year-old daughter.
You want to creep my sister? Creep this.
It is getting hard to tell the old cuts and bruises from the new ones.
Dad, what's this picture of?
Your mom, that prick, ran off with her. Biggest shame for a father. Not having something to leave his son. Car should have been yours.
That's the weird thing from Cincinnati.
You want to come to Florida with me?
Why?
Get my dad's car back.
What for?
Because he wanted me to have it.
I need a bikini.
Get on the bike.
He's out God knows where with my daughter doing God knows what.
Well, this is not good.
These guys, they're going after him. We need to help him.
I know you ain't gonna stop. Coming from my car. So I'm gonna have to make you stop.
Do we need to protect Wayne from the world? Or do we need to protect the world from Wayne?
Who the hell you think you is?
That looks fucking
You
good.
guys know what you want to drink?
Yes. Coffee.
Coffee? How old are you?
I don't know. How old are you?
Well, you're a little young to be drinking coffee is all.
And you're a little old to be wearing that choker is all. But the hot ones with the hot ones, right, Tracy? Thank you, Tracy.
That looks fucking awesome.
You want to watch Wayne?
Is that a movie or a show?
First 30 days free. Not 31, not 32, 30. Don't be cheap. Why are we giving this stuff for free anyways? I'll give you this for free.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks real fucking good.
That was Wayne. Have you guys seen I don't give a fuck about the world anymore. What's it called? It's Netflix. Or
Yeah, I know the show you're talking about.
World?
Is that what it was? The End of the Effing World. It was based off a comic book.
I think.
Or are you talking about the one with Elijah Wood? I don't.
No.
Oh.
Well, actually,
there were two that sounded very similar.
Mhm.
I was thinking The End of the Fucking World. It kind of reminded me of that. And if you haven't seen The End of the Fucking World, oh my god, it is so good. It's based off a comic book. And it's like the monotone version of this.
Yeah, I don't care anything about the End of the Fucking World.
You should.
No. I'm focused on Wayne.
Okay.
That looks
good.
awesome.
It does look good.
Holy
Looks
shit.
legit.
Violent, funny, dark. I fucking loved it. Oh my god.
It felt British. It felt like British humor.
And it's got the Boston voice, so
But
I'm
like
there.
it's written by Brits. Let's find out. Wayne, what are you thinking?
Looks good.
I know Cobra Kai is an amazing YouTube premium series. So
Everybody's talking about that.
It's good to see YouTube like
That might be the first largely successful.
it's so good. It's one of the best things I've seen all year.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I know, and they they did like a Rooster Teeth movie, I think.
Yeah, well,
they've done some other successful things. But
yeah, the less said about what was it, Laser Bros or whatever.
Yeah,
Laser
Tag.
The less said about Laser Force, the better.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I was not. I think I watched it and like it.
Good for Rooster Teeth.
One of our other producers was like an early Kickstarter for that, so he got to watch in theaters. Whatever. Anyways, and then they did a show that Dan Harmon was one of the producers for. It was with the dudes that do Game Grumps.
Yeah.
Those guys are funny, and it's not a bad show. It kind of felt like The Guild. Anyways, Wayne, I'm surprised that it's not based off of I'm surprised it's not that it's an original IP. It follows 15-year-old Wayne sets out on a dirt bike with his new crush Dell to take back the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am that was stolen from his father before he died. It is Wayne and Dell against the world.
Yeah, looks legit.
Looks good.
I'd watch
looks
it.
real fucking good.
Except I'm not getting YouTube Premium. So, sorry.
I have it.
Yeah, I have it too. So.
That's how
Well,
we
you
can
guys
watch all
have
these
it? You haven't
shows.
seen Cobra Kai?
I have not seen Cobra Kai.
Bruh.
Yeah?
I watched it in one sitting.
Really?
Yeah, you gotta watch Cobra Kai.
Do I need to care about Karate Kid or not?
No,
Kind of.
but you need to have seen it.
Yeah,
I've
why
seen
would
it, but
why
I saw it when I was like a kid.
Why
and I
wouldn't
don't-
you care about Karate Kid? It's one of the best movies ever made.
Nah, that's nostalgia. That's
Ye-
nostalgia.
Nah.
It's nostalgia. I don't know that it's that good.
Yeah, Daniel-san sucks. It's all about Cobra Kai.
It's all about Cobra Kai.
It's all about Cobra Kai.
Well, then you'll like Cobra Kai.
I do like Cobra Kai.
Cool. That's all we know about it. Original air date is January 16 for the first episode. I wonder if it'll all come out at once. Is that when Cobra Kai's coming out?
I
All at
think
once?
it did come out all at once.
Okay. What else do we know about this? It's a production series for First Order consisting of 10 episodes. And that's it.
It's got Dean Winters, who I love.
Who are these kids? Do you guys know these kids?
No.
I recognize the girl, but I don't know from where.
Well, look her up. I think it's
Her name's Ciara?
Ciara Bravo.
I thought she was.
Look at her wiki face.
Oh, she was in Angels and
did the
Demons.
Films, Cinnamon, Angels and Demons.
Neighbors 2.
Bone,
I think it's from
Neighbors 2.
TV then, because I haven't seen any of those movies.
TV, she was in the Ice Age, A Mammoth Christmas, Penguins of Madagascar. So she does like kid stuff.
Yeah, she's the kid.
Can you
Agents of
silence that?
S.H.I.E.L.D. That's where.
Agents of
that's
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
where it's-
NCIS.
Hey, she was in NCIS.
Done some things.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't recognize that guy. All right.
Cool.
I might watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. It looks
watch that.
It looks real good.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our film and television news portion. Now, I didn't assign news to you guys. I totally forgot.
I
We're
know.
caught up in production, so we're just gonna do this by the seat of our fly.
Seat of our pants.
Seat of our pants.
Do this on the fly.
On the fly.
You got to spend some time with Griff and I on sit down pile drive.
What is seat of our pants from?
It's your seat and your pants.
By the seat of my pants?
Isn't it,
Your butt.
isn't it seam?
Seam of your pants?
I don't know. Move past it. Move past it.
All right. Our first piece of news here is that James Wan is scheduled to, I think, produce. We're going to find out if he's directing, but the Resident Evil reboot. Now, why is this exciting? Well, let me give you some information on
Yes, please tell me, Dylan.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Why is a Resident Evil reboot exciting, please?
I will tell you, because they're largely basing it off or inspired by at least Resident Evil 7, which a lot of people consider to be like, wait, that's the newest one, right?
Yeah.
The farm one.
That people really, really like. You didn't like it?
Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil end of story.
Well, I didn't say best, but I know that people really enjoy Resident Evil 7, largely because it brought back that old horror film.
Yeah.
And I played a bit of it, and it is terrifying. It is a terrifying game.
Yeah, the Resident Evil movies were all bad. All of them. Every single one of them was very
I
bad.
don't like them, but it's a nostalgia thing for me. I watched
No,
them when I was a kid.
and like those are such early 2000s movies.
They are early 2000s movies.
Like good for Mila Jovovich. I'm glad her husband gave her
Jojovic.
Did
I say it wrong?
I think you did.
It's Yo-Yo?
It's Yo.
Like Yo-Yo
No,
Ma?
it's Yovo.
Yeah, it's Jovovich.
Jovovich.
I said it.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey.
Yogovich, isn't it?
Go.
I don't know.
According to the screenwriter of the upcoming Resident Evil
JoJo's
movie
Bizarre
reboot,
Adventure.
Greg Russo, the film will be inspired by Capcom's most recent entry, which is Resident
So
Evil.
it's going to be Texas
7.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, maybe honestly, because that is what like 7.
I
felt a
feel
little
like I feel like Resident Evil belongs in just a video game world.
Yeah.
Because if you try to make a movie out of it, it's just another zombie film.
Yeah, but it could be. What was the we watched a trailer recently, and I was like, this might be the first.
Overlord.
No.
That was a good movie.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
And
it was solid.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. No, there was a trailer for a movie about a video game that I was like, oh, this is Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this might be the first good, really good. Maybe we don't know; it's not out yet. A really good video game movie.
It looks good,
right? There's a possibility, and we won't know very much because we don't have a lot of information. And I think this they're probably in pre-production right now for this Resident Evil thing. But with James Wan, I believe again as a producer. And we were just talking about him before.
He should make a Silent Hill film. I don't know why he's wasting his time with Resident Evil.
You're right. They should make another Silent Hill reboot. And the thing is, too, I kind of like the original Silent Hill.
It seems like James Wan, from what I've gathered, it seems like Silent Hill would be more in his wheelhouse than a Resident Evil film.
I don't know. Well, okay, so maybe it's a mixture of what he's known, what he's now going to be known for, right? So horror is where he started, and now he's doing an action film.
Oh God,
action film.
Yeah.
Here's a superhero.
Never mind. This is his his mashup of his skills.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how he does in critically and in the box office. For
Resident Evil 7 wasn't really an action game, though. It was more like survival horror, right?
Which is why I actually am hoping for a more horror style Resident Evil as opposed to the ones we know, which is the action ones.
Yeah.
Right. I know people don't like them. I like how they introduced the Hive. I think that's maybe what it was in that first one.
They're such fucking awful movies.
Well,
the fact that it got a sequel and then a third and then a fourth.
There's like 6 of them.
There's 7. There's 7 Resident Evil movies.
Now we're getting a Monster Hunter movie too.
No. Are we really?
Yeah,
With
from the same people.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Stop ruining video games, guys.
Yeah.
You and Yui Bowl, Paul Anderson and Yui Bowl should get a room together.
You know what sucks the most is Paul W. Anderson. I always get mixed up with Paul Thomas Anderson, who's like one of the best directors making movies today. But sometimes I'll say Paul Wes Anderson because they're the same name almost, and people look like.
Well, speaking of Paul Anderson. Okay, so here's a quote from Russo, Greg Russo. He's not a Russo brother, is he?
I'll read it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And not to shame the original film franchise that was made, I think that did very well. Except it didn't. When you create a fresh reboot and look at over-the-top action of the Paul Anderson franchise, it was fun. No, it wasn't. And really cool. No, it wasn't. But at the end of the day, for me, as a fan of the original game franchise, I always considered the franchise to be horror at the forefront and action as a secondary feature.
He's trying to flip it on its head.
Trying to make a Resident Evil movie.
Do we know anything about Greg Russo, guys?
His name's Greg.
God damn it.
Based on the movie he's making, definitely not
Greg
one of the Russo brothers.
All right, let's find out who this dude is.
Mortal Kombat.
He made more. No, these are all announced.
Yeah, unannounced.
So I guess
there's really nothing underneath his belt so far, at least on his IMDb page, if that is in fact his IMDb page, because it looks like there are other ones.
I'm sure there's more than one Greg Russo in the world.
Yeah, I think that might have been.
No, this is the guy, I think.
We don't know a lot about this guy. There's a Hollywood Reporter. Oh, Mortal Kombat screenwriter Greg Russo.
Yikes. Okay.
That came out. That was an article written in.
Well,
May.
I'm already not excited for this.
Is that a thing? Are there screenwriters that just specialize in making crappy video game adaptations?
Yeah.
There was a period of time on the internet where we were doing like those live action.
Like fan made.
Yeah, fan made, but they were actually pretty good.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking fans of it. God damn it.
So yeah, okay. So they did it. I remember they did it for like Mortal Kombat, and they did it for Capcom. What was it?
Street Fighter.
Legend of Zelda got a pretty sweet like fake trailer.
That was IGN.
That was a long time.
That was a long.
IGN.
Yeah, but it was a pretty sweet trailer.
All right, yeah.
It was a good trailer. And then IGN did it a few years later with Jessica Chobot as Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
They did a solid Harry Potter FX horror themed show
Mhm.
too.
Oh.
That looked sick.
Interesting.
Should've
Did you
done
say
that.
or?
Horror. You know that Wizard Police.
Huh?
Yeah, no, I got you. I know what you're saying.
Gotcha.
Wizard Cops.
Wizard Cops.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm behind.
What would be the slur for Wizard Cops?
I don't know.
You know, because you call a cop a pig. What would you call a wizard cop?
I feel like there's a punchline and you know it.
No.
Or you're asking for it.
Yeah, I just want to know.
A wizard.
Because I didn't see Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts.
Don't
bother. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so
Coleman.
yeah, you're clearly not excited, and you are not excited. All right, I'll stay on the optimistic side.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. I'm okay with it. Let's move on to our next topic, which is Chiwetel Ejiofor directing his first film. Can you guys help me spell his name?
No, I cannot.
That looks close enough. Yeah.
They did for you.
It came up. So I believe in his directorial debut, he is going to be making a new Netflix series based off of a book called The Boy
Who
Knew
These
Nuts.
Oh my God. Come on, don't ruin Chiwetel's. Okay. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind.
I like The Boy Who Knew These Nuts better. That's a better title.
Okay, so from what I understand of it, it follows a 13-year-old boy who's thrown out of school in Malawi when his family can no longer afford the fees. He finds a way to build a windmill, I think, for his family. And so thus The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
Ejiofor says William's story represents what has to be the future of countries like Malawi, developing countries overflowing with beauty and harboring enormous potential. A global story such as this requires a global platform, and I am thrilled to be working with Netflix and bringing William's extraordinary tale of determination and inventiveness to audiences worldwide. Does this mean this is a real story? It's like
No, I think it's based on a novel.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, it says okay, cool. So
That's cool.
Yeah, here's some things. I really like Chiwetel.
Yeah,
he has an eye for. He picks good roles. So
he's probably the best part of Doctor Strange.
He was good.
He was good. He wasn't the best part.
It was the best part. That movie wasn't very good.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah, that's top 10 for me.
Top 10.
Whoa, Jesus Christ!
Well,
you guys,
the MC Marvel.
Yes. We're on the like
you guys
movies
must.
of all time.
You guys must hate Marvel films.
We keep talking about wizards. We talked about wizards, and then we're talking about Doctor Strange. It's a what's it called? It's foreshadowing. We're gonna be talking about wizards later on. Anyways, okay. Here's the thing. Yeah, we are. Here's the thing. I like Chiwetel. My guess is he's gonna have a good eye for this. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's Netflix sanctioned. That's not a bad thing.
No,
even though Netflix does put out they kind of throw everything at the wall.
Yeah, Netflix. It's not like guaranteed it's gonna be good.
Of course not. But
Yeah.
Good name behind it. And good story. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the movie Lion. Did you guys ever watch?
No.
What's in Dev Patel? I think his name is. Nicole Kidman's in it. That was like one of my favorite movies of 2017. I fucking love that film. And it has that same kind of like, just from what it sounds like, that same kind of like sad story.
Yeah. No,
and I'm cool with that. I like
story set in Africa.
That's true. Yes.
Other than The Lion King, I can't remember many happy stories in Africa.
Yeah.
And even in The Lion King, Mufasa dies.
Oh, there was that chess movie.
Spoilers.
The movie's not even out yet.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
There was that chess movie that Disney released a few years ago.
Yeah.
Queen of Katwe?
Yeah, did you watch it?
No.
I didn't watch it either. Looks good. Anyways, cool.
Yeah.
And best of all, new IP.
New IP.
It's based on a book.
In the Boy Who Harnessed the Wind extended universe. The Boy Who Harnessed a Rock.
The Boy Who Harnessed these nuts.
Someday.
God damn it. All right, so that is Chiwetel's thing. Let's move on to our next bit of news. We are now in Coming Soon Now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before
Post Tomatoes.
Let's try one more time. Coming Soon Now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before
Sliced Tomatoes.
All right, it's pre-tomatoes, and you'll get it in a moment. So what do? Every week we look at the newest television and or film that is coming out. We assign what we think the Rotten Tomato score is going to be, and then we look at those scores the following week. So last week, The Crimes of Grindelwald came out, Widows, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. We're going to be going into a deep review of Ballad of Buster Scruggs later on in the show, but let's just kind of go back over our scores based on our guesses from last week. Connor, take it away.
All right, so we gave Crimes. We as nerds who live as nerds wanted to give Crimes of Grindelwald the benefit of the doubt, and we said it'll get a 72%. It did not. Critics hated it. They said stupid and gave it 40%. Audiences went, I thought this was a Harry Potter film, and gave it 67%. Damn. I am surprised.
Yeah.
We were way too nice.
I saw this movie before you guys filmed last week's Screen Source, so I came in with a little bit of hindsight.
To be fair,
hindsight.
I was on your side.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling kind of dropped the ball. She's a very good world builder, and she's got a good imagination, but she cannot write a screenplay. She needs a little help on that.
Did she write any of the original screenplays for
She wrote
Harry
Fantastic Beasts, the screenplay, but
No. She wrote the books.
Yeah,
her job was done.
Yeah, I know, but I'm wondering if she came in and also helped write the screenplay.
She probably like George R. R. Martin kind of stuff, where she,
produced
bits and pieces. But
Gotcha.
Have you guys seen Fantastic Beasts?
No.
I do want to. I'm actually excited about it still.
Sarah's gonna make me see it.
Look,
I don't want to see it.
This movie is a mess. There's like 5 different storylines. When they intersect, the payoff is kind of sad.
Okay.
And I don't know. David Yates directs it really well.
I just don't care.
But you don't care. Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care how this Harry Potter universe came to be.
Although I will say, by the end of the movie, it's like there were some pretty dumb twists. But I'm like, yeah, I'll go watch the next one.
You got suckered.
Yeah,
you got suckered. I heard that it suffered from the Hobbit trilogy problem, which is that the original trilogy is good. Oh no! Or did I hear compared to Star Wars?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Defying expectations. Oh, great idea.
All right, and then we gave Widows a 72%, and for some reason people loved it, except the audience. The audience went, I don't like this at all. Gave it a 61, where audiences went, it's deep, and gave it a 91.
Critics gave it a 91.
It's not deep. I also saw this. I think I even dropped my thoughts on it last week.
Yeah.
But I think I said something along the lines of like, it's not highbrow enough to give any substance, but not lowbrow enough to be fun action thriller.
It was stuck in the middle, huh?
Critics didn't want to seem dumb, so they gave it a 91.
Honestly, when I was writing my review, I was afraid of sounding dumb. I was like, nah, this movie's no good. I mean, it's okay.
Good actors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, Colin Farrell.
But it was the story that fell flat for you.
Yeah, and the execution.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so none of us saw it.
No. And then The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which we will talk about. We gave an 85%, which was wrong. Horribly wrong.
No, not that wrong.
It was wrong. We should have been nice. We should have been much higher. Critics gave it a 93%, and audiences went, I didn't get this, and gave it a 76.
Hey, 76 is all right for an audience.
I'm a little bit more towards audience score on this than I am critical score.
Fuck you, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm critical score, baby.
I'm critical score, yeah.
I'm actually a little bit more like original Screen Source score from last week's score, which sits somewhere in the middle.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine, but we'll get into it.
Yes. Okay. So we were kind of off this week.
Yeah.
But you know what? Not every week's we can't hit every week.
I was surprised that Grindelwald was as hated as it was.
I am too, honestly, because I think the first film did pretty good with critics.
I'm just like, was it really that bad?
Okay, well, let me. I was sitting next to a girl and her boyfriend, presumably, and that girl really loved Harry Potter. Because anytime I say Hogwarts or magic, she's like,
it's like when I went to see Solo.
Wait, the word magic.
So we saw Solo. And you know he's going to get into the Millennium Falcon and fly it. And as soon as he did, this chick behind me is just like, yeah! Like she didn't know it was going to happen.
Hey, maybe she's young and she's just learning about the universe.
she was like in her 40s, dude.
Oh, man.
You know what, though?
Like she had been waiting for young Han Solo to fight that Millennium Falcon
There's
her entire life.
A real visceral thing about that. Like, did you guys like when Star Wars started getting rebooted for not The Last Jedi, for
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, they started showing those trailers. I'm like, oh my god,
That's different. That's heavily different.
Yeah.
it's not though.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's so no. It's completely different.
Why?
It's something
like,
new.
It's like geeking out that Darth Vader goes in fucking Rogue One. Like, no shit he's going to do that. No shit Han Solo's going to get behind the Millennium Falcon in Solo, the movie where Solo becomes Han Solo. No. They did not have to include the Millennium Falcon in Force Awakens. The fact that they did is an oh shit moment.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. I was just like, those are completely different things.
Okay, you know what though? The way they introduced Chewie in Solo. was
Chewie's
pretty
the
badass.
Chewie's the only
Chills. That
Chewie's
was
the only good part
badass.
of Solo.
No.
You're right, Woody Harrelson. All right, moving on.
Coming soon now with Pre-Tomatoes, which always comes after.
Post Tomatoes.
That's right. This week we got Creed 2 coming out. Ralph Wrecks the Internet and The Favorite.
Yes.
Which is Hector's favorite.
Hector's favorite.
Well,
yeah.
not quite, but it's definitely in my top 5 of the year.
Top 5
Easy.
of the year. Let's go through them one by one and assign what
I've
we
also
think the
seen
Rotten
all of
Tomatoes
them,
score is going
so
to be.
I'll go after. I've seen all of them, so I'll go after you
Shoot.
guys.
And I know the score, so I'll go after you guys.
Oh my god.
It's up to me.
It's up to you. Okay.
Creed 2, 0. Ralph Wrecks the Internet, 0. No. I think Creed 2 will do well.
Yeah?
People like it. People like Michael B. Jordan is the talk of the town. To you, Michael B. Jordan's great. You're crazy.
Good. Very good.
I actually saw him in Parenthood, and I do like
You
him
live
that.
in a fantasy world where Michael B. Jordan isn't great, apparently.
Wait, what? How's that a fantasy?
Okay, if you don't like Michael, it's got Sylvester Stallone in it too, and Dolph Lundgren.
Who's Dolph Lundgren?
Big Russian guy. He's is probably being an accomplished
This
actor.
is him revealing he's never seen Rocky
You've
4.
never seen Rocky 4?
I think I've seen the first Rocky.
Communist.
I think I've seen the very first Rocky, I think.
I don't know. Creed 2 will probably. I'm gonna guess it's gonna get like maybe an 85.
People love that Creed from last year. What one?
It was phenomenal.
It's like 2015, I think.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
a while
really?
ago. Yeah.
Damn, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It was a phenomenal movie.
Might even be farther back. It's not very recent.
I'm gonna go higher, 95. So what did you say?
85.
Okay, so let's go with 90. Now Hector.
Yes.
Give us your non-spoiler review.
Yeah. Well.
You just gave it a 96.
No, I didn't.
It's pretty good.
You just gave it a 9.
So it's like a movie about learning what to fight for, and that theme I think doesn't quite coalesce all the way with all the narratives going on. There's like 3 different things going on.
Okay.
I was also kind of disappointed. The Drago family, those are the disgraced Russians. Like Ivan Drago, the disgraced Russian Olympian boxer from Rocky 4.
Mm-hmm.
He has a son, and he wants to fight Creed. And since you haven't seen Rocky 4, spoiler alert, Ivan Drago kills Adonis Creed's dad, Apollo Creed.
Rest in peace.
So this is like a revenge movie, kind of, but not really. I wish it kind of got...
Yeah, I remember his girlfriend in the trailer going like, "This isn't about revenge."
Yeah, I wish it would have gotten a little more hammier, just because Rocky 4 is so like... It's a
Rocky
product
4
of its
is
time.
fucking ridiculous.
Is that not why people like the Creed reboot though? It's not hammy.
Yeah, it's very serious,
Yeah.
and it works well. It's a very well put together movie. It's not directed by Ryan Coogler this time around, but
he handed it off to a friend of his.
yes, and he directed it well. It's a good movie. I'd give it like a B+.
I like a lot of the shots. I like a lot of shots in the trailer. I think it's really well done.
It's training boxing underwater. Yeah.
Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph wrecks the internet. Let's see. People liked that first movie. a lot, too.
but at the same time, like people enjoyed it. I wouldn't say the masses loved it.
Good, not great.
Yeah, good. And I think Rex the Internet's going to be more of the same. I'm saying 72.
Oh, you're going low. See, I'm going to be the optimist again. I'm going to go 82.
And then you're going to mark it 100%.
But no, it'd be an 80. It'd be a 77.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. I will say, like, I didn't think I didn't love the first one. I
It was fine. It was fine.
It was fine. I would have given it like a C.
And this, like, I think the trailers to Rex the Internet got me even less. Where I'm just like, like video games, cool. I can wrap my brain around that. I don't care about the internet.
You're not excited about memes.
No, I don't give
Man.
like watching Ralph do that fucking Fortnite thing. That infuriated me. I was so mad seeing that.
Do you hate Fortnite?
I just hate the fucking dance. I hate crazes, dude. I hate crazes when something sweeps up the nation and everyone's doing it. It's gross to me.
Yeah, so taking it from there.
Yeah,
so
not spoiler.
I saw Wreck-It Ralph, and so there's something kind of timeless about the way the first one tackles video games. Like it's retro stuff, but it feels timeless in a way. This movie is the exact opposite. All the internet stuff, like the memes,
like
the
20
Fortnite
years
dance,
from now,
it's all fads, so it's not going to age well, especially for like older people. Like my dad, I doubt would get any of this.
This will annoy your parents.
Hell, I doubt you guys would probably get most of these. I barely get. I'm like right on the cusp of understanding all these little internet
and you know
silly things. And I mean, it's fine. It's funny. It does its job.
We're not that old.
I give it like a B-, I guess.
That's not bad.
It's harmless
very watchable.
entertainment. Although I will say,
I'm okay with harmless entertainment, honestly.
I will say Disney flexes the crap out of all their IPs because you see Star Wars stuff, you see Marvel stuff, you see all the princesses. Like they're gonna sell.
That's a big deal, honestly.
There's a scene where like you see all the princesses. Like everyone's seen it. The second half of it has them all like wearing like on like their pajamas, and you already know they're gonna sell 1 billion dolls from that. And like
I have
there's
some nieces, and they're pajama crazy about that princess stuff.
No, yeah. So it's Disney flexing their IPs and making a Hello Fellow Kids movie, but it's not bad. It's okay.
So 77%'s decent.
Yeah, I give it a B-. That's about where I'd put it. Yeah.
It's interesting because I like almost forget that this is Disney because they're releasing all these big things year round, and they're banking on their Christmas.
It's
sales being for.
It's not Illumination level crap. It's definitely well above in quality.
Disney makes Disney films. It's hard to determine for me it's hard to determine whether a Disney film is good or bad because it's Disney. It's like
got a gloss over
well, it's
it.
like what are you comparing it to? No one makes Disney films
as good as Disney.
Well, no one else makes Disney films.
There are people that try it certainly.
I know, and they're bad because it's transparent. Like
DreamWorks?
Anastasia.
Yeah, early DreamWorks.
Yeah, early DreamWorks, fucking Anastasia.
Shark Tale.
And the favorite trailers for this been out for a while. It also showed at several film festivals. One of which Mr. Hector here is.
I have not seen anything of this.
No,
I'll try to avoid it.
I'm just gonna go with whatever you guys give it.
Okay. The trailers were really good, and then you came in like 2 months ago, just raving about it. And it's the same director who did The Lobster.
Yes, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Dogtooth, Yorgos Lanthimos.
I know a little bit of what I'm getting into now. Okay.
So yeah, a very specific point of view. I think
he makes very good weird movies.
Oh yeah, his stamp is all over this.
And movie. It's Victorian, right? Would you say Elizabethan maybe?
It's early 18th century, so
Okay.
1700s.
Gotcha.
So Queen. It's based on real people, Queen Anne and Duchess of blah 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 and
sure
blah blah blah.
Emma Stone,
Married to King of yada yada yada.
Correct.
Olivia Colman.
Yes,
Rachel Weisz. And I really liked the trailer. I really liked the weird fisheye shots, and I really like the dialogue, and I really like the relationships that you're seeing. And it sounds like it holds up through. So I'm just going to give it a score right now. I'm going to go like a 90 or something. Go ahead. Tell us your non-spoiler.
All right. So this movie's definitely going to win, if not at least be nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. Olivia Colman is so good as Queen Anne. She does so much. She has to like act silly, but also act serious because she's got like this disease. Like I don't know if it's gout, but like she's like constantly degenerating throughout the whole movie, but she can still like find so much great levity. Oh, it's so funny. And like Yorgos Lanthimos' direction on top of the script, think it's written by one of the people that did Avenue Q. So yeah,
so you're already expecting good, funny dialogue.
It's wacky, silly. There's a bunch of like funny non sequiturs, and like Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are pretty good too. I wouldn't say one individually they're anything to write home about, but together, like when they're just fighting over trying to be the queen's favorite, it's great. And you know, the cinematography, like you said, lots of low angle fisheye shots. It's shot all in all natural lighting, like Barry Lyndon,
cool.
which is obviously a big inspiration for this movie. And also, I think all of at least a couple of other of Yorgos Lanthimos' movies are shot in natural lighting. But there's like fire. There's like there's like pale. It looks so good. It's definitely gonna get something for cinematography, I feel.
Nice.
And what else? I mean, there's breakdancing Barry Lyndons. There's rabbits, bunnies that play a weird central part in the film's themes. What? It's crazy, man. I love this movie. I'd give it an A.
Wow. Well, you've certainly sold it, and the trailers kind of sell themselves too, honestly.
Yeah, go see this movie, man.
Sweet. All right, so that is what's coming out this week. We'll take a look sometime in the future what those scores are going to look like for realsies. But otherwise, there's some more film and television that are coming out that we're not going to assign scores to, but we are going to to take a look at what they have to offer. Jesus Christ, man!
Oh, I heard Robin Hood was terrible.
Oh, it's so bad.
The rest of the films, I guess, coming out this week are Roma, Green Book, and Robin Hood. Again, we're not going to assign scores here, but we can talk about them for a second. And I guess by we're going to point the camera at this dude who's seen them all.
I'll go from worst to best, which is right to left.
Cool.
Robin Hood. Okay, look, I love Taron Egerton. He was
don't.
Okay, have you seen Eddie the Eagle?
No, I've not seen Eddie the Eagle. I know him from Kingsman, and I fucking hated those
I loved
movies.
him in Kingsman, and I recommend you check out Eddie the Eagle because it's something.
Kingsman's overrated.
I think they're bad films,
Okay,
both of them.
Definitely check out Eddie the Eagle. It's something completely different. Like, this guy has range. He's going to be Elton John in a Elton John movie.
I'm very apprehensive about that, but
Rocket Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a good actor. I really like him. And you know, you got Jamie Foxx, you got Ben Mendelsohn, but this movie is so bad. Like, even if you just ignore that it's based on Robin Hood, and if you're familiar with the old English material,
they tried to turn him into a superhero.
It's nothing like that.
Does it look like Assassin's Creed?
It's
the best Robin Hood movie is when he's a fucking fox.
Oh, not Men in Tights.
No, Men in Tights is okay. Men in Tights is like theater kids like Men in Tights.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
Like that's
movie.
like if that's your favorite Mel Brooks movie, were you in theater?
That's good.
Yeah, but no, this Robin Hood movie, it's directed terribly. It's written terribly. It's so generic.
It's acted terribly.
So bland. Interestingly, some of the production design is actually really cool. Like, they set this one during the Crusades instead of the French occupation of early England. But so like the sets are really cool. Some of the costumes are good, and like they look period accurate relatively. But then you'll get random things like Robin Hood's actual design looks like something from today. Also, Ben Mendelsohn as a sheriff of Nottingham. He wears like a really modern suit. It's so weird. It's baffling the decisions that went into making this movie.
It's a movie that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, it looks like it was expensive though. So
I bet it was. There was so many explosions and weird shit in the trailers.
It surprises me, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
A lot of CG, right? A lot of close up of arrows.
No, it's shot like 300. It does the 300 style editing. Which was only good the one time.
Well, like quick.
Like, yeah. Like he'll be running and it'll be slow motion, and then he'll punch him real fast, and it'll go back to slow motion.
Yeah, nah. Avoid this movie at all costs.
All right,
with the shitty rock orchestra playing at the same time. Like it can't be fucking orchestra or rock music. It's got to be Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah. That's what you're getting at. All right, I know you're going for next. Green Book.
It's actually really good. It's directed by Peter Farrelly, one of the Farrelly brothers, from such classics as Dumb and Dumber.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
And There's Something About Mary.
Yeah, they made this. They made this really hokey.
No, yeah. So this is actually really good.
I love There's Something About Mary. That's like a definition of my childhood.
That explains so much about you, dude.
Slapstick crappy lowest common denominator.
No, when she does the hair thing, Dylan was like, that's what I
my
want.
hairstyle for years.
I believe
Go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
So lowest common denominator kind of comedy, but he actually directs this drama very well. It's actually got a really good mix of drama and comedy. It's about Viggo Mortensen, an Italian-American bouncer who's hired to drive Don Shirley, played by Mahershala Ali, across the Deep South on a concert tour set in the 1960s. So you can guess how that would
Yikes.
go. And
It went very well.
The title Green Book comes from the Green Book for like Negro Travels or something like that is what it was called. And so where black people could know where they were allowed to stay because of segregation and stuff like that.
Yeah, which ended in like 63, 65 or something.
Yeah, so it's playing with like pretty tricky subject matter, but it's funny. Like the relationship between Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali is really heartfelt. It's funny. It's actually based on a true story.
How were they? I know Mahershala is kind of a big hitter actor.
Yeah, they're both good.
Viggo Mortensen's great.
Yeah, he just acts so differently in every role he's like.
He's phenomenal in everything he's
He was in last year, I think, in Captain Fantastic. I don't know if you guys saw.
Hell, I'll say it. Hidalgo, very good.
So he's got good range, and like in this one, he's like kind of like this kind of meathead with like good intent. You think of like Rocky, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's good, and like when it actually tackles the heavier subject material, there's a really interesting theme about Don Shirley trying to overcome the prejudices because he's kind of ashamed about what people usually attribute to black, like traditionally African American like ideas. Like he's ashamed of their music, the way they're treated. So he's trying to overcome that by being better than what he's prescribed. And it's really interesting. I identified it with it quite a bit just because of how Mexicans usually portrayed in film as just dumb, and trying to overcome that by being better than what people think you are. It's a really good message.
Cool.
That being said, the back half kind of gets repetitive in its pacing, and like I said, that theme about being better, it's kind of weird because he's just so antagonistic towards his like culture. So it's not really resolved completely, but
which is maybe not. Which actually maybe makes sense for the early to mid 60s.
Yeah, but like as a film,
Gotcha.
it's just kind of weird, but it's good. I give it like a solid B+.
It looks slow. Is that true?
It's got a very breezy, fun kind of pacing.
Yeah, it looks like a Hallmark card kind of movie.
Yeah, just like that.
like a
That's
Hallmark.
good. So I'd recommend it.
Sorry you went through the South.
It's a part of the black movie renaissance of this year. Like there's been a lot of great movies this year exploring the black identity, what it means in the United States. So it's good. I'd recommend it. It's good for the family too.
Nice. Yeah. And then lastly was Roma, which it is a limited release in theaters. I think it came out in some film festivals, and it looks like it's coming out on Netflix. Probably the same day as release for theater.
No, it came out in theaters, in select theaters on Wednesday.
Okay.
The 21st, and it's not going to get released on Netflix until like December 14th, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's got a while, but let me tell you, if you can see this movie in theaters, you got to see it. It's so gorgeously shot, and there's a ton of experimental stuff going on. Like sometimes you'll hear audio just on one side. It's just everything about this movie is great. Alfonso.
I think we did a trailer reaction to that.
We did, and the trailer was fantastic. And it was a very artsy trailer, no dialogue. It was literally like kind of like Day in the Life.
Yeah.
It's kind of an artsy movie. It's got a real neo-realist vibe to it. And full disclosure, I kind of hate neo-realist movies from the French wave, Italian, French, European. I cannot get into them. But this movie, for some reason, captivated me completely. Alfonso Cuarón directs, produces, writes.
And what else has he done?
He does the
cinematography.
Cinematography. It's so much. It's a labor of love, and it's beautiful. He did Prisoner of Azkaban, Children of Men, a couple movies from Mexico.
If you did Children of Men,
Gravity.
That is one of the
he made
best
Gravity.
shot films. I fucking love that.
Children of Men's fantastic.
So good.
And he all those movies I listed before, they're really great because he has a great collaborative cinematographer, Lubeski, and he didn't do it. Roma with Cuarón this time around, but even then, the film is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's in black and white.
And what about story-wise?
It's a movie about loneliness, so it's kind of based on Cuarón's memories of his childhood, but seen through the eyes of his indigenous maid and caretaker.
Okay.
So a lot of the movie is based on the present looking into the past. So it's not completely autobiographical. It's more like a stream of consciousness of what he remembers. It's kind of day-to-day things.
It reminds me of, like, at least the way it looked, like Life is Beautiful. Is that fair?
No,
that's completely different.
Yeah,
Really?
no, like he's talking about neorealism, and you just named a slapstick comedy set in the Holocaust.
I guess so. But I'm not, again, in tone, but I was just thinking the way it looks.
I mean, maybe.
I think
don't
you're
know.
thinking more like Schindler's List than like. Do you need to rewatch Life is Beautiful?
Maybe.
That movie's so full of color. It's ridiculous.
And is there no color in Roma?
It's black and white.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Really?
Even though the posters are black and white.
You just said it too.
I literally just wasn't listening.
But no, yeah, it's a beautiful movie. There's a part that tackles one of the student protests of Mexico in the 1970s, and it moved me to tears. It's a really sad moment. It does so much with so little. There's very little dialogue, kind of. It's more a movie about the experience than plot.
Sure.
And, if like I said, if you can watch it in a theater, I totally recommend it. It's one of the best movies of the year, hands down. I hope it wins Best Foreign Oscar, because everything else I've seen in that category doesn't hold a candle. It should be nominated for Best Picture, too. Hey.
There you go. All right. So make sure to go check out Robin Hood if you're going to check out any of these movies. And let's move on to
it's the only good one we confirmed.
We've confirmed.
A+ on Roma, by the way.
A+ on Roma. Cool. Now into our review section. And the first bit of our reviews is what are you watching? So, what are you guys watching?
All right. We'll talk about Buster Scruggs, so I won't get into it. But I actually saw a couple good movies just in this past week. I finally got around to watching Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy because it's on Netflix.
Just read a review, just real quick, to say that 2 spies reviewed the movie, like real life spies.
Yeah.
And said this is the not reviewed it, but they were saying that like this movie is the most realistic spy film ever made.
For it's boring. I
fell asleep twice.
Fucking good. It's so good. It's so well written. It's so well acted. It's so well shot, but it is boring as shit. It's just a lot of really heavy dialogue mixed with little sprinkles of violence. Okay. But it's so like everyone gives the best performances I've ever seen out of them. Colin Firth is fantastic. Mark Strong's awesome. Oh. He's so good in it. Gary Oldman, I've never seen him better. I've never seen a better performance out of Gary Oldman than I did in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Tom Hardy's great. John Hurt's great. I love the colors they use. I love the aesthetic the film has. It's an excellent spy movie. Don't go into it expecting James Bond. You're not gonna get that. Mm-hmm. But what you're gonna get is a very intense thriller. And it's dark, it's political. It has it does such a good statement on the ridiculousness of the Cold War, of just who's betraying who and who's on the right side and stuff like that. It's phenomenal. And then I finally got around to seeing Sorry to Bother You. Oh, and I love that movie. It quickly found its way into, like, if I wrote a top 20 favorite films, like Sorry to Bother You is up there. I can't think of a single film like it.
Yeah. It's such a solid political satire. And the fact that this is Boots Riley's first film he ever wrote. God, I want to see what he does 5 films from now. Because he just did such a great job. The main actor, Lakeith
Stanfield, he's fantastic. The actor, I don't know her name.
Tessa Thompson.
She's great. I like Steve Ewan. He's fantastic in it. It's so fucking funny. The movie's so funny, and it's so biting. It's so sharp in its satire and the things it says and the statements it makes, and the ending is fucked up.
Dude, Armie Hammer in that movie. That's one of
so
his
funny.
Best roles ever.
He's so funny. No, I love that movie. It was weird though that Terry Crews got like top billing.
Yeah, right.
He's barely in the movie.
cameo at best.
And that's what I was watching. I recommend both movies.
Cool. What are you watching, Hector?
Well, I watched like 6 to 8 movies to cover the Thanksgiving holiday, and I kind of
Jesus.
just talked about them.
Okay.
So
those.
I'll talk about First Man. I don't know if it was necessarily discussed on here. I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
I watched that a few weeks ago in theaters. And
Did you see it in IMAX?
I did, yeah. And I never watched IMAX either. But I think it's a movie that deserves IMAX. It's certainly well shot. This is all non-spoiler review, but
It's history.
yeah, it's yeah.
He landed on the moon.
That's
Wait,
true.
is that
yeah.
real though?
That's a good point.
He may not have landed on the moon.
It ends with Stanley Kubrick directing.
Yeah, good point. I will say that I liked the claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah.
Which they shot super well. That it's almost easy to shoot claustrophobic feeling, which you just get really close to your subject. But this it just feels so real. And it almost surprises me that they didn't shoot it in space, and I don't know that it's actually true.
Dude, yeah, that moon sequence.
So
Jeez.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
best of the year.
Yes. And I liked the through story with the family and kind of him figuring out Neil Armstrong figuring out kind of like his place in the world after the death of his child. And that happens very, very early on. And then they don't really introduce like Buzz Aldrin's character, or like they don't really delve into him a ton, but
because he was the second man.
That's true. But he's the enthusiastic man. Apparently, after Neil Armstrong came back from his journey, he was very quiet. He didn't really talk very much about the landing on the moon. And Buzz became like the face.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin's like the celebrity astronaut.
He's the Connor of the Connor Lee Bradley, but he was kind of a dick.
So he is the Connor Lee Bradley.
He's Connor Lee Bradley of.
I'm
of the
awful.
moon
Have you heard those? Have you read those comments?
You read the comments. Brazilians speak Spanish.
The only people who like.
I've got a question to you. Did you feel like the movie was a little distant?
What do you? That's an interesting word.
Like Neil Armstrong. I saw this movie with my dad at an early screening, and I was like, Dad, I didn't really like the acting. Like Neil Armstrong, I didn't feel connected to his character.
I think you wanted to feel that.
But my dad told me that's exactly how it was.
I think it was because like I think he didn't have a connection like with his family.
Mm-hmm.
He had a connection with his job. He had like comrades, like those were his people, and he didn't have a connection with like the people either. Even though where he is known, he's now one of the biggest names ever. But he also didn't have a connection with like the United States and everything we wanted to know, or the world. So maybe that distance is what was intended.
Do you think the movie suffers for it though?
No, because I think he's so good.
Really?
He's such a good actor.
Ryan Gosling's amazing.
Ryan Gosling's good.
It was a little too distant for me.
Like you felt too disconnected.
Like the movie, like it's about grieving, and it's not about the moon landing. It's about like a man grieving for his dead kid.
It's definitely about that, but like those shots and sequences, where you like, I feel like they wanted you to know what it felt like.
Yeah.
And like when they're in that first rocket going up, and then they kind of start spinning out of control. Jesus Christ. It's they really know how to hold your attention, I think, in this movie.
It's oppressive. I think maybe a little too much. Like I think the cinematography is great. I think it's a little too crazy. Same with the acting. It's very distant, but I think it's a very good movie overall.
It's a good movie.
Like when you put the whole pie together.
Yeah. And if not for at least a handful of scenes for you to watch, like the one we were just talking about, or the moon landing itself.
Jeez.
Really, really well done. So definitely watch it, and probably won't be in IMAX for much longer. It's probably out of theaters.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It did not make money.
Oh, it didn't? That's sad. Yeah, it kind of went under the radar. I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it.
How would you rank it compared to the other Damien Chazelle movies?
What other movies did you do?
Whiplash and La La Land.
I didn't watch either. And here's the thing. I will never watch La La Land. I hate musicals. But I am a drummer and I love jazz, so Whiplash seems right up my alley.
Holy crap, that's like one of my favorite.
And you like
movies.
yelling.
There you go. My 3 favorite things in the world.
All Dylan cares about.
Yelling, jazz, and drums.
I have a Blu-ray. I'll lend it to you. Whiplash is.
It's on Netflix, right?
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll watch on Blu-ray for sure.
It's so good.
All right, sweet. So that's what we're watching this week. Let's also talk about a review of our impromptu required viewing, which is The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, man.
So it was an interesting Netflix original by the Coen brothers, a 6-part.
Not really. It's just it's a movie.
It's an anthology.
It's an anthology. Yeah. Yes. With no through line. This will be spoilers. And so where do we start? We start at the beginning.
Start at the
We
beginning.
about how
It's
we
the only way to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So the first one was called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I thought it was fantastic.
That's my favorite short.
I thought, I mean, first off, Tim Blake Nelson is charming as fuck. I love everything he's in. I love everything he does. Leaves of Grass is a phenomenal film.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Oh, brother, where art thou? No, this is like that's the oh, brother, where art thou moment of the film. It's funny. It's weird. It's
bloody.
He breaks the fourth wall constantly. I love his character. I actually was kind of sad that it's not like a whole movie about Buster Scruggs.
I'd watch the heck out
I
of
think
that.
I'd watch.
I would have watched granted, I would have watched like all of these except for the Liam Neeson one. I would have watched like all of these films if they were like 2 hours long.
That's a good point, honestly. I mean, it's the Coen brothers.
And it was shockingly violent.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't know. Like,
No.
Coen brothers stuff. They get
Those
the
trailers, those
doesn't-
trailers do not make it seem like it's going to be a bloody movie.
Yeah, it doesn't
right,
look
you're
like it's gonna go there.
They wanted you to think that.
Oh, they let me in.
They
And
are
I'm
a
s-
part of trailer making.
I thought the songs were. I thought the end song, especially in that short, was fantastic. Whoever that singer is who plays the kid, he has a beautiful voice.
I like the song when he is in when he's in the bar.
the little
And
2-second
here's the
song.
thing. I actually didn't really care about most of the songs because I hate
Yeah,
musicals.
you hate Joy.
It was whatever. But that the 2-minute one where like right after he kills the guy, and his brother
Surly
comes
Joe,
in.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
No,
fun,
I love
that's
it.
fun.
I love when he looks in the mirror and he shoots. It was no, I love the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It was fantastic. And also seeing like the mountains from Rio Rancho where I grew up. I'm like, I was there.
Yeah, a lot of this was shot right here in Albuquerque, or at
Santa
least New
Fe. I
Mexico.
think it was shot in Santa Fe, actually.
I think it was shot everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably every. Yeah, good point.
My buddy's was a location scout for this, so there's a lot of recognizable.
And that was definitely Rio Rancho.
So cool. Let's move on to the next one called
Near Algodones.
Near Algodones. Okay, so this is the one with
James Franco.
James Franco, which I'm kind of surprised his face is still hanging around.
Yeah.
James Franco's made some mistakes, but you know, everyone's made mistakes. No one can be completely
Let's
proud
not
of
get into that,
themselves.
honestly.
Spider-Man 3 was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah. I'm sure he regrets Annapolis.
Okay, so this was an interesting one that was a little bit slower. Same kind of dark theme, but not with the same joy, except for this
one was still more comedic.
Like a couple parts.
Like this one was like.
Well, it wasn't the saddest.
No, it was
way.
not.
No, it was not. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. But yeah, him going into this this bank called, or where was it at? The bank's supposed to be at
Near Algodones.
Okay, yeah. But Tucumcari.
Yeah, Tucumcari, New Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stephen Root, who is fucking hilarious in everything he's in.
So funny.
He's in
love his
Dodgeball.
character. And then he had maybe like the most memorable line of all of these.
Pan shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it like 3 times.
I like James Franco. I thought it was weird that they cast him in a Western, but I thought he did a great job.
It's such a small role too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He didn't do much.
He was
barely
charming. I
talked.
enjoyed him. I love the end when they're putting the rope on him and he sees that girl in the crowd and he's just like,
Yeah.
now that's a pretty girl. I thought it was great.
It
I
was
thought
good.
I thought it was a nice little.
Also, one of the other big lines in the movie is like first time.
Yeah,
Not the other guy
That
that's
was-
about to die.
I love when he's trying to keep the horse from like running away because he's like,
Oh.
he's just hanging.
You're right. Actually, this was really funny now that I think about it, because then that guy saves him.
He was and for a character
for
a character I knew nothing about. I thought James Franco's character was a very charming, likable guy. I would have watched.
James Franco's a charming.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that face.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they cast him. Now that you say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the third one, which is called Meal Ticket.
Oh God, this is
maybe the most oppressive of the 6. Also,
easy.
I think also would either end up on the best people's list or the worst.
I thought it was phenomenal. The Coen brothers don't always make pleasant films. No Country for Old Men, Inside the Mind of Llewellyn Davis.
Oh,
they don't like things can be sad and still be very good.
Yeah. Of course.
There's very little dialogue in this scene. Really, most of it's just the guy quoting the poem. And then it's just a lot of like really atmospheric, sad silence.
I thought it was when he's reciting all these things. I broke out laughing because he's reciting Percy Shelley's Ozymandias and like biblical stories, and he randomly starts doing the Gettysburg Address. I thought it was it made me laugh, but then it didn't.
Yeah.
But then it
and
which is how you sum up.
And Liam Neeson was phenomenal.
Was really good.
For having almost no dialogue. His character came off as such an unlikable fucker, but you kind of understood.
Liam Neeson's the VP of all of this.
But you kind of understood where he was coming.
Not the VP, like he's the OG of all of this.
I'm willing to argue that there were some people who were probably a lot better than Liam Neeson in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't say better. I said OG.
Yeah.
Like he's been around.
Yeah.
He's,
he's probably one of the bigger names. Although I mean, like Tom Waits.
Yeah, but known for other things first.
Yeah.
He's probably the biggest star.
Well, James Franco. Boom.
Yeah. One of those two.
There was that
tragic ending.
The few parts that Liam Neeson did talk, he was like drunk, and you didn't really know where his character's coming from.
He was an awful man, but this is the Old West.
And in some ways, though, like taking care of a stranger.
Yeah.
Initially,
but making money off of a stranger.
Initially, I felt bad for him because he looks like he's like doing all these things. He's just trying to get by.
Yeah.
But then,
because and that's kind of what I liked about it, was the unsure.
Yeah.
Until the very end, and a very significant scene. One of the few scenes that really, I shouldn't say few, but like a scene that sticks out maybe more than the rest of these was him going to the brothel.
Yeah.
And then turning the guy around.
I did a couple Rocky shows with the prostitute.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hysterical. And then the end, obviously. Oh my God, when he drops that rock, and that guy's looking over.
There's like no dialogue, and you can just tell. You just know exactly what's going on. You don't need any. It was phenomenal.
And you don't even need to see it, because the next scene is just a chicken.
It was it was heartbreaking. It was incredibly heartbreaking.
Yes. I will. And again, my buddy that works in the movie said he thinks that's the one that really read the best.
Oh yeah.
And I don't disagree, but I will say that and even though it was really well done, I just think there are others that were better. But I think we should get into ranking at the very end.
I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit too sad to say it was the best. Like, no, he threw an amputee over a bridge into water.
Definitely, like maybe the one you'd remember before.
Oh, it's
other than maybe the title.
It's harsh. It's a harsh one.
It's a harsh one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is called All Gold Canyon.
Loved it.
Yeah, goddamn.
Tom Waits was phenomenal. He was so funny. His character was charming as fuck.
Hello, Mr. Pocket.
Mr.
That's so good. That's so. I love the Coen brothers. I love the way they write.
Wherever they filmed that they found like the most gorgeous piece of land.
I heard it was Colorado.
Yeah,
not entirely sure. I was following it was kind of weird, but I was following a subreddit film for Buster Scruggs all weekend, so I'm excited to kind of tell you guys what the favorites were.
Yeah.
But this one.
Literally only two actors, Tom Waits and then the dude who shot him in the back.
The dude that shot him in the back, and he's like, "You shot me in the back,
you snake!
You missed, you snake." Yeah,
I loved it.
God damn it, that writing. And like he just killed it as far as acting. Like this stood out the most to me.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much.
And it's a good.
I'm gonna be
short
saying
story.
that for all of them. I loved this fucking movie.
It's a great little short story, and it felt real. Like fuck, this is what people did.
Yeah.
Believe
I
this?
think one or two of these are actually based on short stories. I think this one is one of those.
I think they were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe all of them were.
No.
Okay. Oh well, here you go. In a segment
I
adapting the short story.
think Tim
All
Blake
Goes Canyon
Nelson
by Jack
wrote
London.
Buster Scruggs.
Okay.
I think
Well,
Tim Blake
let's-
Nelson
let's-
wrote
let's
the
scroll up
Buster
here.
Scruggs one.
I know.
Cowboy.
We'll talk about it later, but the last one, The Mortal Remains, feels like a John Paul Sartre
Fucking
play.
loved that one. Oh my god.
Algo Canyon was a short story by Jack London, an 1876 novelist, which when he was born. So an old one. Yeah, but that was a great. It's a good short story to adapt. So I'm really glad.
Yeah, and I really like how the animals went away.
Oh.
And then I love that scene with the owl. That was so funny.
Oh, I'll just take one.
You can't count.
And you know, it's like the only movie.
It's so funny.
It's the only part of the anthology that actually like ends nicely.
Mildly happy.
Yeah.
You're right. It really is the only.
Too bad it's
maybe
like
the only one.
the one in the middle.
Yeah. Well, it's like Coen Brothers knew. Yeah, we just bummed everybody out. Let's have a happy one, guys. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was, and it was, and they tricked us too, because you were expecting it to end just as solemn as the rest.
Yeah.
And he gets up, and I'm so happy he did.
Right. I
And-
kind of like when he got shot. Like it kind of took the wind out of my sails. I was like,
yeah.
wow, that's a bummer.
It just waits and waits and waits,
Yes.
and then he gets that.
Even
And he's not a bad man. Like
even before that too, when he's waiting to get shot.
Yeah,
he
like-
knows his demise.
Like when we were watching it, it seemed like, oh, is he going to destroy the land, and it's going to be one of those sad like, and then he. But no, this guy was just he took what he took what he needed, and he left everything else, and it was very just an enjoyable little Western tale.
It was nice.
And the next one was called "The Gal Who Got Rattled." This one maybe the second most dialogue. After the
Oh, it was
very
dialogue
last
heavy.
one.
First off, the guy who played Billy Knapp, he was great.
I think his name is Bill Heck.
Bill Heck. His real name is Bill Heck. Yeah,
Bill Heck.
he was great. He was phenomenal.
Yes.
Everyone in
They
that.
all were
Oh, she the actress.
Zoe Kazan.
She was great. She was the highlight of that entire.
She really was.
Her and the dog.
I really liked how they talked.
Oh yeah,
And they get into that. Like she's so proper.
very smart dialogue in
So
this
smart.
one.
And also like smart people.
Mhm.
Like, you know, they're all going through like really weird situations and trials.
Oh, the stuff with the renegade troop, the renegade group of Native Americans was like that was intense.
That was so
Jeez.
intense.
That was very
Yeah.
like just as just watching the film, I'm like he's not giving him the peace sign. Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Arthur was my favorite part of the.
Yeah.
This was maybe the most like thorough.
It's
like,
the
this one
most
had more
well-rounded.
Yeah, it's most well-rounded, but also the most story because it even started off kind of weird.
Yeah.
And a whole other thing.
I'm bummed that they killed her.
Gosh.
I'm bummed that they wrote that.
I'm actually like.
That
like,
love story was so nice and adorable.
It was so
that
nice.
to take it away was like that's
But I
sad.
think, here's why it was worth it. It was worth it for that last kind of line, or
Mhm.
like the they show little snippets of the book or the story that they're taking.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And it said something along the lines of, and then he looked over the hill and he didn't know what to say. And that was worth it for me. I was like, God, that's good. Because you're trying to read it super fast as
Yeah.
it's moving in motion.
That's what the pause button's for.
Yeah, did you pause it?
Yeah, I had to like rewind a bunch of times.
But I feel like this is how they want me to read it, which is barely. That scene, the fight scene was fucking.
That was intense. That was an intense little
And
battle.
I liked how they went about it too. It wasn't just they battled and then
Yeah.
it was this kind of go around, and you're like they're learning the landscape and learning what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. They don't even necessarily know that she's there.
Right. And she shoots herself because she thinks he's dead and he's not.
I know.
It was
I know.
tragic.
But I like how he reacts when he comes back. He's like, "Oh,
You shouldn't have done that.
He's just so nonchalant.
Yeah.
This is the Wild West.
Yeah.
Right? Is what
Well,
it's
that's
like.
what would have happened. Yeah.
And that fucking dog, man.
I love that dog.
President
dog.
Pierce.
That dog was so cute.
President Pierce.
President Pierce was adorable.
Now you might think I'm crazy, and I don't want you to flip out here, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was so good. That was really
Well, I love he takes the dog, and you think he shoots the dog, and he comes back. He's like, I don't even think I hit it.
You hear like one gunshot.
That was
two more.
You think he's the most competent man?
Literally
here.
until the end of this was the most adorable Coen Brothers thing I'd ever seen, and then she shoots herself in the head. It's like,
Now
oh,
it's Coen Brothers.
that's tragic.
Let's go on to the last one, which is called The Mortal Remains, which I think was an interesting choice. To be the last
Phenomenal,
one.
phenomenal. So well written, so smart.
This one's full dialogue. And
It's
I think
just
based off of the
dialogue.
play.
Well, are you guys familiar with John Paul Sartre's No Exit?
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, it's about a group of strangers trapped in a room, and that room is hell, and each other is hell, is the metaphor.
Gotcha.
So that's what it felt just like.
Yeah, there's that moment where they're approaching the doors, and on one side it's got the angel, and on the other side it's got the devil. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all trapped in the wagon and said, "You can't escape. No, don't stop."
He doesn't stop. He won't stop. I loved that dude. The British dude, not Brendan Gleeson. I loved him. He was phenomenal. But that guy, I have no idea who the fuck.
guy who's like, you never really know someone.
No, the stories he was telling.
Yeah.
I forgot exactly what
It was a poker story.
Yeah, the poker. Oh my god.
It was all about poker. So I like the way this starts off with a guy who's clearly kind of being annoying by singing.
Yeah.
They're not very happy about it. But then I like that everybody gets a moment of being annoying.
Yes.
And it's relentless, and they keep going.
It was so funny. It was
so
dark.
happy about that. What a good choice.
And then I forgot exactly that final story the British guy tells.
Oh, chills.
Terrifying as fuck.
Which is when you realize that they're. Are you talking about when we realize that they're both killers? They're both mercenaries.
No, no. I forgot exactly because we knew they were bounty hunters from the beginning.
I don't think we knew.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they do because they say I have the body.
Yeah, pretty early on they reveal they're bounty hunters. No, it's.
We do? I forgot.
Scroll down because I can't remember exactly the story tells, but it's.
No, they reveal themselves to be bounty hunters at the end. So at the beginning, we know there's a body, but we think they might be they might work for the morgue or something, you know?
Yeah,
At the end is
right,
when we find out,
I guess I kind of just assumed they were. I've been playing so much Red Dead. I assume everybody's a bounty hunter.
God, I didn't. Yeah.
Perfect pairing, we'll
Yeah,
say.
but no, like that story he's just telling about watching their victims.
Oh yeah.
Realize that they're gonna die was so chillingly good. Like as an actor, I would want to give a performance like that. It was just goosebumps.
They quote unquote they negotiate the passage and try to make sense of it.
I will say in between this one and Meal Ticket, I think those two are probably gonna be the most panned by general audiences, just because this one, it's basically a play.
It's all just dialogue,
and it gets pretty indulgent. Like when that guy just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.
It's good though.
But yeah, another thing about those two is I like how I feel like the whole film as a whole is about like nature of storytelling, and like the Coens have become disillusioned with that, because like you see in Meal Ticket, like very few people start going to the performances, and like Liam Neeson realizes, well, I'm probably getting more out of this dancing
fucking this counting chicken, yeah.
And the Coen brothers in interviews have said, well, studios won't make movies like this anymore, so Netflix is like a savior in that regard. And then like Mortal Remains tease that up perfectly, because you see the
I want to see more things like that. I want to see more films like that. I love one of my favorite things about The Hateful Eight is it feels like a play, and I just want to see more films that just give me that feeling.
This, I mean, maybe just because am I wrong that anthologies are becoming more popular? Sci-fi's doing them. There's a lot of horror anthologies now.
I think it's
TV shows, yes. But
I think
movies.
it's just easier to tell stories you want to tell doing it that way.
Like Black Mirror. I love it. I almost prefer it to film or television because it feels like it's somewhere in between.
I'm not like this. I probably wouldn't call this like one of my favorite Coen Brothers films.
Yeah, nowhere close.
But I fucking loved this movie. I loved
but
it.
if you had a choice between watch like a full Coen Brothers movie or like a bunch of these things,
I'd watch a full Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, no contest.
Yeah. No. Like, I loved Buster Scruggs. I don't know if I'd buy the Blu-ray. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. Like, I like once I bought the Blu-ray, I'd put it in and I'd watch it. But it's not like No Country for Old Men or Big Lebowski where I can just pop it in all of the
it
time.
would be fun to see behind the scenes for this.
Oh yeah. No, I can't say enough good things about this fucking movie. It's so good.
Okay, so you favorite, least favorite.
Favorite Buster Scruggs or A Gal Who Got Rattled.
Okay.
Least favorite.
That's
probably Meal Ticket.
Yeah. God, I don't know, because every single one of them was like perfect for me. Like they all just flowed so well together. I'd have to say favorite. God, it's either a tie between Buster Scruggs or The Mortal Remains. Just because I thought the dialogue in Mortal Remains is fantastic, but Buster Scruggs was like, I could have watched a 2-hour movie.
So much fun.
I could have watched that for 2 hours.
That's true. It's true. I actually could too.
My least favorite, God, I'd have to say The Girl Who Got Rattled.
Really?
And it's not like I didn't love it. I just felt like, oh, they killed her. Oh, what? No, boo that.
But in your favorite one, he also gets killed.
That
It's
works
nice.
though. It works though. It's hilarious. And then he has that like they just sing that beautiful song.
That was okay.
I just feel like the tone of The Gal Who Got Rattled shifted immediately when she shot herself.
Liked the shift.
I didn't
and
like
that's why
I didn't mind the shift. I was hurt. I was like,
We
oh.
like all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved every single one of
Girl
these.
Who Got Rattled, All Gold Canyon. Those are my favorites. I think Tom Waits' best performance.
Oh, he was so funny.
And yeah, maybe my least favorite would be Meal Ticket also, and that's just maybe just because I'm not like in a down mood right now, or I want to like watch Liam
Neeson, Chuck Dudley
armless,
Dursley over
watch limbless people get thrown over a bridge. Yeah, it was just a little much, but I get it.
Yeah. No, it was well done. It was just dark and sad.
And Near All Good Donuts too wasn't like.
Yeah.
You know.
James Franco's. I liked it. It was fine.
Cool. Interesting. Super interesting. Is there anything on Netflix that maybe we could do as a required viewing if we can get to it?
Roma in a couple of weeks.
Huh?
Roma in a couple of weeks.
Roma in a couple of weeks?
That won't be for a while.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
What are you thinking? Is there anything else in your
Oh,
mind?
if it's Netflix.
Well, you watch Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we can talk about
We
that
can do a
next time?
spoiler
it's on
review.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do
Next. Yeah. Let's do Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, you guys are excited about this one.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
right.
It's so fucking good.
It's nuts, which I love.
Oh, it's bizarre. It gets bizarre.
Okay.
But
all right. I'm in. I'm sold. You guys have sold it. The trailer didn't sell it. I will say.
Oh, dude, it's nothing like the trailer.
Okay.
The trailer
that's
shows
like
you
the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, the trailers are so good at masking what it is.
Which is a good thing.
It should be impossible to do in this day and age, but somehow they did it.
Oh, the movie takes a turn.
All right. Let's do it then.
For the better.
Required viewing for next time is Sorry to Bother You. And let's finish out Screen Source here with a little game called Last Wizard Standing.
All right.
All right. So every week we play a game where we eliminate everything that's on the screen that you see except for one, and the last one is the last blank standing. This week it is the last wizard. Let's just say the best. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to list them off for me, Connor?
Yes. Well, first we have Dumbledore of Harry Potter fame. Then we have Gandalf of Lord of the Rings fame. And then we have Doctor Strange of Marvel fame. We have the Red Witch from Game of Thrones.
Oh.
And you didn't put him as Ice King. He's Simon.
Yeah, I didn't. I've never seen. I've seen
Who
one
is-
episode of Adventure Time.
Oh, it's from
But
Adventure
I just knew he
Time?
was popular, so I put it on there.
Yeah, I didn't know those bottom two.
Adventure Time is so good.
I watched one where they fetch the dingus, which is just
the frisbee,
from
yeah.
a tree, and it was kind of.
Oh, that's a show you have to invest in.
Gotcha.
And we have the Ice King of Adventure Time fame.
Is he a wizard?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the Ice
All right,
King.
all right, I was just wondering. I was making sure I put him on there for you.
Well, thank you.
I feel like we missed someone, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, there wasn't like
Merlin.
So I was thinking about putting Merlin, but it was hard to depict.
I would have put Merlin instead of Ice King if I'm being
Because
honest.
Merlin probably mostly we know him from like King Arthur and stories like that. And then there was a TV show at BBC or something.
Which depiction would you guys have chosen?
Huh? Depiction
Sword in the
of Merlin?
Stone. I would have picked Sword in the Stone.
Animated one?
Yeah.
I would have picked a book that I read. I can't remember what the name
Lamort
of the
de
book.
Arthur?
Nah.
Not the good old English one.
Nah. And then we missed Harry Potter, who's also a wizard.
Named Dumbledore.
But we had Dumbledore.
Should have
so.
put Jude Law in there too. He was like one of the good parts of that movie, man.
Jude Law's
Young
great.
Jude Law.
He's
Young
a charming
Dumbledore.
man.
All right, so let's do this one at a time. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. Who wants to go last? Let's have you go last. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. That means you go twice, I think.
Ooh,
so you go first. What are you eliminating here?
The
Adventure Time one?
Yeah, that guy. I've never seen him
His
before.
name's the Ice King, and he's from Adventure Time, and that's all I know.
All right.
I am going... I kind of want to just be controversial here.
Oh, you
Please
fucking don't you dare. Don't you
Here's
dare.
the thing.
This isn't a game, Dylan.
Don't...
This is Last Wizard Standing.
I genuinely do not give a shit about the Lord of the Rings movie.
He's a god!
I'm
He's a
getting rid of
god!
Gandalf,
You're going!
Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White. He's out of here!
Fuck!
Want to cross those out while
I'll cross
Connor
them out.
finishes?
Fucking son of a bitch!
Those movies are whatever.
Oh, actually, I'm
Go ahead,
I'm
Connor.
half with you, half without.
Okay. Have you seen The Hobbit? Okay, have you seen Clerks 2 when they basically sum up the movie in like 2 lines? It's okay, Connor. You'll
Those movies
survive.
are whatever?
No, whatever.
You're whatever!
I think
Go
I know
ahead.
who Connor's getting rid of.
Who are you getting rid of, Connor?
Get out of here, Doctor Strange!
Yeah, I know it.
I like Doctor Strange more than the Lord of the Rings.
Shut
All
your
right.
mouth.
And the last 2 here.
Look, man, obvious choice. Dumbledore is the last wizard
Dumbledore
standing.
is the last wizard standing. Her story in Game of Thrones is really good, though.
I confess I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah.
But-
Are you mad at me?
I'm furious.
Would you have been mad if it was between Dumbledore and Gandalf if Dumbledore won out?
And be more respectable, but to get to first off,
You don't think the Red Witch deserves to be on here?
to call Lord of the Rings movies whatever. All 3 of the original trilogy are
Is there even a difference between the 3? Are they basically the same movie?
Ooh, there's trees in the second one.
Oh yeah, there's trees. You're right. Sorry, there's trees in one of them.
I'm so furious right now.
There's like elephants in the third one or something.
That's how I feel about it.
Sorry, I'm actually not the
this is why Party Circuit is what it is.
What's that?
It's out of spite.
It's out of spite.
That's why Party Circuit's the worst show of Color Circuit. Because fuck you, Dylan.
Well, we left the manipulative, horrible, kind of jerk of a wizard. Dumbledore is number 1. Literally,
Good
just,
for you guys.
Dumbledore.
Good for you.
He ends up being a jerk.
You got rid of
he was literally raising Harry Potter just so he could die because he knew from the beginning he was the last Horcrux.
I never heard.
Have
I
you
never
not
thought
seen
about
Harry Potter?
Yeah, I just never thought about it like that.
It happens in the 8th movie.
Yeah,
Snape
yeah.
You see a flashback with Snape. He's like, "You
got-
raised
Yeah.
like a lamb to slaughter."
you got rid of.
Oh, he does say that.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just got rid of Gandalf for the lulz.
Okay, so my favorite. Well, no, actually, I genuinely got rid of him because I thought there were better ones up there.
I thought the Red Witch was
He's
better than
literally the power.
Gandalf.
I like Doctor Strange more than I like Gandalf.
He fought the Balrog through fire and hell. He came back from the dead.
And I think I read some like a little bit of the books, and I just
No, the books suck.
yeah.
This is the movies. The books are boring.
That's not true for Harry Potter.
Oh, the books are
way better than the movies.
Okay.
The movies
I
kinda
think they're
suck.
pretty equal in greatness of
I
quality.
don't care about the movies.
Wow, we're gonna get a lot of hate today.
We are gonna get a lot of hate today. Okay, so
I hope most of it's directed at you right now, Dylan.
my favorite part of this game is who would have won for you. So Connor,
No, who would have won for you, Dylan?
who would have, oh, that's actually a good question. I'm not entirely well. I'm not entirely sure yet. Probably Gandalf would have won for me.
Why?
So,
Oh my gosh. You mean Dumbledore?
I mean Dumbledore.
Yeah, that's who I thought you meant.
That is who I meant. Yeah, Dumbledore. Yeah, Dumbledore. Dumbledore would have won for me. Who would have won for you?
Yeah, Dumbledore. Doctor Strange at a close second.
Yeah, me too. Doctor Strange is a close second.
Although
And you?
Gandalf! It would have been Gandalf!
Would have been your close second.
Probably Dumbledore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then Dumbledore seems like a fair win here as a 1-1-2.
Yeah, but for fucking Red Witch to be second place,
She's pretty good second place. Yeah.
fuck you.
I've never read the books though for Game of Thrones, but I do like her weird ass story in the show.
I'm
You're
dramatically upset right now.
I put on the Ice Kingdom for you.
You got rid of Gandalf.
Thank you for watching Screen Source.